style is so different, which is a massive shame, really, because he could have been. How big of a star do you think he could have been, Matt, if he'd have got, without the politics in WWF at the time of Shawn Michaels, that was kind of, very much the champion. How big of a deal would he have been? Would he have been like the Hogan opponent, you think, at one time or another? I'm definitely thinking he would have got that gig.
There was no limits to what he could have achieved, because you can definitely just see it, because he is such a talented guy. There was a reason why he was big in Japan. And looking at the way that he wrestles here, it's no wonder that Shawn Michaels was a little apprehensive about getting in the ring with him. He was a physical guy, and it worked. It sold. That's what made him a monster heel. And Sting was willing to get in there and sort of take this, because that you're going to get a good match. He's going to bring out the best in you. You have to actually sort of weather the storm.
Yeah, seeing it now. So this match, I mean, this is much more of a contest, I would say, of like fighting. I think this is much more of the brawl that I expected in the first match, to be honest with you. But they're doing a good job to me. I mean, there's nothing in here, regardless that they have gone to this way. I'm kind of enjoying it, the story that they're telling. This looks like Vader's just literally going to punch himself out soon. And these punches that he's doing. You see a referee cop one there.
Yeah.
He's using
his discretion there, man. Who want to disqualify Vader?
This ref got beaten up last time in the last match, so I'm wondering if something will happen to him again. Now we see Sting trying to fire back.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when you said, like, this is a match or something along these lines that you'd be all right to show your friends to and actually say this is what you think wrestling should be about. But it's kind of true, because it's believable. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking there's no outlandish moves. It does seem like two guys getting into a fight.
There we go again.
And also, I think we've seen many a time how protective Vader is over the business.
Yeah. He's got that foot on the rope. See Sting now going to the top. I don't think he did this in the first match.
No.
Stay on the splash. Cool, that referee's counting as a suspect.
Just more evidence of how versatile Sting was with his whole move set.
Vader had literally clocked his own manager there, Harley, as he came up with that one. But it's kind of cool, because I'm guessing if you were at the stage in a fight, you would throw the punches more. Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't keep doing all the beautiful wrestling. Now we're going to see. I'm guessing we might see something very agile here from Vader. Now he's going to literally copy Sting.
Oh, have you noticed that guy who turned up in a shirt and a tie as well?
Where's that? Is that on the
in the audience now, standing up?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
I'm just like, who turns up to a wrestling event in a tie?
Yeah, got his best attire on, didn't they, for this one? Hang on a minute, he's going for another one. Now, what are we gonna see? I think Sting's making his way up here. No? Oh, lovely. There we go.
It's just another case of capitalising on a mistake.
Yep, it is indeed. Fans go mad for this one. Everyone on their feet. And this referee enjoying himself again. The fake Rick Rude enjoying himself. It's the most diverse, strangest mix of fans I've ever seen in a wrestling show for some time here. Going to get some replays now. Yeah. It's like full contact there as well. I didn't know how much held back on that one. Yeah, so much effort there. More effort there, I would say, on Vader's part to get that one done right at the end and make that look good. But it goes to show how agile that guy was. especially at that time of the match, to be pulling something out like that. Okay, well, Matt, we're at the end of the second match. What one did you prefer? Is this as good as the first one? Are you giving that 4 stars, or are you giving it a little bit less?
They did enough to make it different. I give this one 3.5. Though I think the first one still edged it ahead of it.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.5 as well. I was thinking exactly the same. Although I did enjoy this, I've got to say this wasn't a bad match by any means. I think they're both really good. Yeah, I think they're both excellently done. And what was good is they didn't do the same match twice. Like, you see that a lot these days, where they can't think up anything else. But it was like a completely different match, different moves, and going, doing those a little bit more. I would say there was a little bit more of a brawl in this one, but at the same time, much more athletic than probably the first one in terms of coming off the top rope. So as we see Jesse Ventura there in his role with WCW. So now we're going to head to the next match. So next up is the third and final of the trilogy of Big Van Vader and Sting. And we're going into 1993. We're going into February 21st at Super Brawl. Not the Super Bowl, but Super Brawl. This was a big WCW pay-per-view. And guys, in the description, of course, 2 hours, 23 minutes and 6 seconds. So if you guys want to find that, hit the pause on the podcast and find it for yourselves, guys. 2 hours, 23 minutes and 6 seconds. And on the count of 1, we're going to hit the play button. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So here we are at Super Brawl. Matt, what a name. We're seeing Sting enter the ring here in what is a very loud costume, I would say, attire, as we see Vader already in the ring at this point. Cool sign.
Yeah, he looks ready for it. I mean, I was looking at the weights of them as well. First of all, Vader started at 248, then he went to 250 in the second one. He's now at 251. Yeah. He just he wants to bulk up for each big match here. I mean, maybe this is the time of day they're weighing him. Who knows?
This is the strap match that I thought was the first match. I got completely wrong. So this is the end of it. Now Vader, again, I don't know what he's wearing here, but he's gone for a very different attire. He's still with his manager. There's the figure I had. That's the one I'm talking about. That one. You couldn't do anything with it, other than it looked like he was swimming forever.
He could be suplexing someone.
Yeah, that was about it. Now, a different referee here. This you would have been familiar with him. He actually had a stint in WWE for a while. This guy, I forgot his name. Nick Patrick. That's it, Nick Patrick, referee, who was in, as we see, Harley Race. Now, strap matches, man, they weren't really a thing in WWE, but in the NWA, they were a massive part of the history. Was this a kind of a gimmick match that you liked, Matt, or that you were not really used to, or?
It's funny. That's just jogged my memory now. You said this strap match. When you said it first, when you thought the other one was a strap match, I thought you meant it's for the title.
Oh, right. I get you.
So
I
kind of felt like that's what you meant, but now I get you literally meant it was a strap match.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a fair few of these, of course, but mostly the ones I saw was on the WWF, WWE kind of side of things. So a one in WCW would be a first for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we are at a trilogy, and I'm sure all the trilogies that we cover, Matt, are not going to always end up like this, where it's like the rubber match. But we're at the stage now, Matt, where they're sort of one apiece, and we're at that time now where it's come to this. But I like the fact that I'm always for gimmick matches, but I kind of feel like they need to get to a certain stage to have it, and I feel like this is... You'd always do it on like the third match if you're ever going to do it. Sometimes... I think, who was it? Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler that did an Iron Man match and then done a singles match after, which just was odd. But we know why they did it. But yeah, that way round doesn't really do it for me. But I always think you have to get, it has to go the other way round to need to go to that level. And again, nowadays, I suppose, if strap matches were such a big thing, they'd probably have a pay-per-view called The Strap show or something, and every match would have to be contested like it. But
so,
go on, mate.
Is this the rules where you have to touch all four turnbuckles?
I believe so. Yes, yeah, I think pretty much the same sort of thing. What I liked a little bit more, I mean, I think with WWE they didn't really get the idea of the strap match all that well. Again, this was a Dusty Rhodes kind of thing. He was very good at booking these matches, and I just don't think WWE quite knew what they were doing sometimes when they had their own. But when you've got a guy in there like Vader, kind of these matches work quite well against a big man because they're telling that story again, and it just helps with all that as well and the test of strength. Love the way Vader's just literally squaring up with him, and again that stiff clothesline.
Not a face to face you want.
It's very unusual as well. It's fascinating to see Vader without gloves on. So used to wearing him gloves in WWE. Such a big thing of him. But
it must have been a Vince McMahon influence. He loves Undertaker to wear gloves. He loves Brock to wear gloves. He's a glove man.
Yeah, got to put them on. Harley Race, the hair looks like it's gone back to its normal state that I always remember it being. The mullet has been dropped for all intents purposes here. So it is different as well, and it happened in WWE as well, where you'd get camera guys taking photographers just outside the ring there, taking shots for their magazines. Something you never see that now. In fact, not that it's not even rare. You just don't see that anymore. Where you'll see sort of independent publishers go in and try and snap a photo. It's just so internal now that actual sort of third party magazines are a thing of the past, aren't they, Matt? Really. Love that they're coming off the top rope, by the way. But did you ever collect the magazines back in the day, Matt? Did you ever?
I mean, I've still got some. I mean, I stash them under the bed. I never even look.
Rainy day.
They're there, but they're there, and quite a lot of them, in fact, and all from the early '90s. I've no idea whether they're actually ever going to be worth anything or anything. It's just a part of my history that just there, just gathering dust.
Yeah. I have an unhealthy amount of magazines stored in my garage. There is just so many of them from all different publishers. But I used to like reading the independent publishers like PWI and Pro Wrestling Illustrated and those guys and Power Slam and all that. I just used to be good to know like different opinions, and you wouldn't always. It was a time when TV wasn't as big as it is now, and the internet wasn't as crazy as it's got. And if you really wanted to find out about wrestlers or other promotions, you really had to go to them magazines to find out. So we see another Stinger Splash going on.
Well, you didn't want to end up calling one of those lines to get the inside information.
No. You certainly didn't. Did you ever ring any of those lines, by the way, Matt? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was because if you were that invested as a wrestling fan, you wanted to know. You was like, well, I need to know when this person's coming back from injury, and I haven't heard from him for like a year. And Shawn Michaels was always the biggest one.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I had a friend that was a massive Shawn Michaels fan, and he probably spent a fortune off his parents' money calling those hotlines. And they'd always had the most slowest voice on there as well. This week on WWF, the news of HBK. And then you'd have to hold on right to the end to hear all about it.
And it was always, he's coming back soon. And you'd wait months. And it just weren't happening.
Whoa. Harley Racer literally just got thumped with that.
Is this the kind of match you would have booked for these two guys? Do you think a strap match makes sense, or would you have thought something else would have suited them better?
I think either this or a cage match, probably.
I was thinking a cage match.
Yeah, WCW cage matches at this time they destroyed the WWE ones. I mean, WWE, they didn't really do a very good job. They had those massive blue looking ones, the old retro looking ones they did with King Kong Bundy and Hogan. I never was really into them. I thought they looked far too gimmicky, and I thought they was just for me to buy as a kid, because this just looks, wow, Vader there looks bloody mess. Bad, doesn't he?